Okay guys, hello, this is Trevis2888. I've got another review for you today. This is X-Men Destiny. Yeah, not the greatest game I've ever played, to be honest, as the review will explain as we go on, so enjoy. Gameplay and controls. Gameplay and the controls, they're a bit jerky. They're not quite right. I mean, you've got various things you can do to move faster and stuff. However, when you're doing these things, when you're doing your sprint or whatever, it's very difficult to actually control your direction. Basically, it's quite hard to do that. And some of the combos and things that you can do in combat, it's that kind of game where if you tap a button so many times, it will execute all those attacks before you can do anything else. It's not the greatest setup for controls. Gameplay wise, it's also pretty dull. It's kind of defeat a wave of enemies, fight a boss, defeat another wave of enemies, fight a boss. It's just really repetitive during the game. To go through the whole game, it's just really hard to sit down and play it, to be honest. Storyline and cutscenes. The storyline is quite interesting. There's a lot of thought gone into it, but unfortunately it refers to events that have happened in the comic books, and it kind of makes it complicated for anybody that doesn't know the stories behind the characters and stuff. I mean, the cutscenes and things are fairly straightforward. They're done in the same graphic quality as the game itself, which is something I'm not sure about. If the game quality is very good and graphically it looks very pleasing, then yeah, cutscenes, great, good times. But in a game like this, where the game graphics quality isn't fantastic, the cutscenes could do with a little bit of an extra push, you know, like a separate, you know, kind of a slightly better quality cutscene. But I can see what they were trying to do with it. Ultimately, it's going to be down to you guys whether you think the story is interesting or not. Yeah, I mean, I leave it up to you to decide.
How are you holding up?
Originality, like I say, it's the originality of the story is quite good. It's not based on a comic book story that actually happened. So the originality behind what's going on is quite interesting, but it's similar to a lot of stories that have gone on. I mean, in the X-Men movies with the Cure and all that sort of stuff, that's kind of almost touched upon. But also in here, you've got characters from the comics who have completely independent stories as to what's happening in the game, if that makes sense. So they've taken these characters from a set story in the comics and put them in this story doing something completely different. So is that original or isn't it? I don't, you know, combat-wise and leveling up and stuff, there's no originality at all really in the gameplay. There's nothing new to it that makes it stand out. In fact, there are some things missing from some of the gameplay, which, you know, I'll cover in the other stuff, but it's not great. Now, 1000G. This is interesting because it's easy to get 1000G on this game. I've played through once. I'm on my second playthrough here in this footage. You can get 1000G by the end of your second playthrough quite easily. But the unfortunate thing is, will you have the patience or the interest to actually play through it? That's the problem. You can get the achievements easily enough. The difficulty is sitting in front of the game and actually playing it. There's no real appeal to actually playing it for 1000G. I mean, I've had it. I'm on Love Film. I've had this game for a very long time because I do want to try and finish it and get 1000G and everything. But it's just actually sitting down and playing it. I can't bring myself to do it. So if anybody gets 1000G, let me know, and I will applaud you for that because the game is so dull. Okay, now the other stuff. your leveling up system is really broken. You have essentially 4 choices to make, and that's it. You get 4 powers that you can use, and unfortunately, if you do a new game, you can't choose more powers. Essentially, if you playing through the second time and you get to that decision again, and you pick the opposite power to the one you picked the first time round, you lose all advancements in your original power. I mean, it's got some nice elements with things like suits and genes that you can use to give yourself different abilities and stuff, but it doesn't really, that power-up system doesn't really match in with the story of the game. You know, mutants can't just gain other mutants' powers by being, by implanting a gene in themselves and stuff like that. It's not really very good at all. I mean, I wouldn't recommend paying more than a £5 for this game. If you see it for a £5 and you fancy giving it a go, then go for it. But if not, then, like I said, I just wouldn't bother. So my final score, unfortunately, is going to be a 4 out of 10. I mean, if anybody's had a better experience with this game than I have, then let me know. You know, I mean, some people might love it, but like I say, I mean, I get it free with Love Film, and I'm happy for that. It's all right for an hour or so of playing and just kind of having a bit of a muck around, not taking it too seriously. But yeah, overall, just really disappointing, to be honest. Better off picking up X-Men Legends from the Xbox, to be honest. So yeah, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you soon.